In the blistering heat of the Arizona badlands, where the sun scorched the earth like an unrelenting forge and the wind whispered secrets through the canyons, Elijah Hawthorne spurred his horse onward, his weathered face etched with the lines of a life too hard for any one man to bear. He had been chasing shadows for days, rumors of rustlers plaguing his ranch, stealing not just cattle but the last shreds of his dignity. As dusk fell like a heavy curtain, he spotted her, a lone figure stumbling through the sagebrush, cloaked in a tattered shawl that hid her features from the world. She collapsed before him, her breath ragged, and as he dismounted to help, she raised a trembling hand. "Wait, I take it off," she whispered, her voice fragile yet defiant, and with that, she pulled away the shawl, revealing a face scarred by fire and time, eyes that held a storm of their own. Elijah froze, his heart seizing in his chest as memories long buried surged forth like a flash flood, threatening to drown him where he stood. If this opening has already tugged at your heartstrings and you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, then please hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, share this video with someone who needs a reminder of hope, and subscribe to Gentle Hearts for more stories that touch the soul. Elijah had always been a man of the land, born under the vast western skies where the Rockies met the plains, raised on a ranch that his grandfather had carved from the wilderness with nothing but grit and a prayer. But life had not been kind to him. It had taken his beloved wife, Amelia, in a tragic fire that razed their homestead years ago, leaving him with scars deeper than any branding iron could inflict. The blaze had started innocently enough, a lantern knocked over in the barn during a fierce thunderstorm, but it spread like vengeance, consuming everything in its path. Elijah had fought through the flames, his hands blistering as he searched for her, but he emerged alone, coughing ash and regret, his world reduced to cinders. In the aftermath, he rebuilt the ranch stone by stone, but his spirit remained broken, a hollow shell of the joyful man who once danced with Amelia under the stars. He threw himself into the work, herding cattle from dawn till dusk, his only companions the loyal ranch hands who pitied him in silence and the ghosts that haunted his dreams. Loneliness became his constant shadow, a weight that pressed heavier with each passing season, turning his heart to stone against the world. The woman before him now, this stranger with the scarred face, stirred something primal in Elijah, a recognition that defied logic. Her name was Clara, she told him later as he helped her onto his horse and guided them back to the ranch under the cover of night. She spoke little at first, her words guarded like precious water in the desert, but as they rode, she revealed fragments of her story, a tale of betrayal and survival that mirrored his own in ways he couldn't yet fathom. Clara had been a saloon singer in Tombstone, captivating crowds with her voice until a jealous rival set fire to her boarding house, leaving her disfigured and destitute. She had wandered the territories ever since, hiding her scars behind veils and shawls, trusting no one, for the world had taught her that beauty was a currency, and without it, she was worthless. Elijah listened in silence, his jaw clenched, the rhythm of the horse's hooves echoing his pounding heart. He offered her shelter at the ranch, a simple cot in the bunkhouse, but as days turned to weeks, her presence began to chip away at the walls he had built around himself. Challenges mounted like storm clouds on the horizon. The rustlers Elijah had been pursuing grew bolder, striking at night and whittling away his herd, threatening the very livelihood that kept him anchored. Whispers among the ranch hands suggested Clara might be a spy or a curse, her arrival coinciding too neatly with the troubles. Elijah dismissed them at first, but doubt crept in like coyotes circling a campfire. Why had she appeared so suddenly, and what secrets did those scars truly hide? Clara, sensing the tension, worked tirelessly to prove her worth, rising before dawn to mend fences and tend to the horses, her hands calloused but gentle. Yet her own struggles weighed heavily, nightmares plagued her sleep, visions of flames licking at her skin, and she often withdrew to the edge of the property, staring at the distant mountains as if searching for an escape. Elijah watched her from afar, his frozen heart thawing inch by inch, but the fear of vulnerability held him back. He had lost once, could he risk it again? As the seasons shifted, with autumn's chill sweeping across the plains and painting the landscape in hues of gold and crimson, the bond between Elijah and Clara deepened amid shared silences and stolen glances. One evening, as they sat by the fire in the main house, the crackling logs casting flickering shadows on the walls, Clara reached for a locket around her neck, the same one she had hesitated to remove that first night. "This belonged to my mother," she said softly, opening it to reveal a faded photograph of a young woman who bore an uncanny resemblance to Amelia. Elijah's breath caught. It couldn't be, yet the eyes, the smile, they were identical. Clara's story unfolded further. She had been adopted as a child after her birth parents perished in a wagon train accident, but whispers from her adoptive family hinted at a connection to a rancher up north. Elijah's mind raced back to Amelia's final words before the fire, confessing a secret child given up years before to protect her from the harsh frontier life. The revelation hit him like a thunderclap. Clara was his daughter, the piece of his heart he never knew was missing. Suspense built as external threats converged with internal turmoil. The rustlers, led by a notorious outlaw named Black Jack Harlan, who held a grudge against Elijah for testifying against him in a long-ago trial, planned a final raid on the ranch. Elijah discovered their camp while scouting the borders, overhearing plans to burn everything to the ground, echoing the nightmare that had stolen his past. He returned to find Clara confronting one of the hands who accused her of treachery, her scars bared in defiance as she stood her ground. In that moment, Elijah froze again, not in fear, but in awe of her strength, seeing Amelia's spirit reborn. He rallied the men, confessing his own vulnerabilities for the first time, sharing the story of his loss and how Clara's arrival had begun to heal him. United, they prepared for the showdown, fortifying the ranch with barricades and watch posts, the air thick with anticipation as the moon rose high. The climax unfolded under a starlit sky, the rustlers charging like specters from the darkness, gunfire echoing through the canyons like distant thunder. Elijah fought fiercely, his rifle steady despite the ache in his bones, protecting not just his land but the fragile new family he had found. Clara, refusing to hide, loaded weapons and tended to the wounded, her voice rising in a haunting melody that bolstered the men's spirits amid the chaos. In the heat of battle, Black Jack cornered Elijah, his pistol aimed true, but Clara intervened, revealing a hidden derringer from her boot and disarming the outlaw with a shot that grazed his arm. As dawn broke, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges, the rustlers were routed, Harlan captured and bound for the sheriff. Elijah and Clara stood amid the smoke and debris, their eyes meeting in a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had been forged in fire. From that day forward, everything changed. The ranch flourished under their joint stewardship, with Clara's innovative ideas, irrigating the fields with water from a nearby spring and breeding hardier stock, breathing new life into the land. Elijah learned to laugh again, the sound rusty at first but genuine, as they shared meals and stories by the hearth. The scars on Clara's face became symbols of resilience rather than shame, and she sang openly now, her voice carrying across the plains like a balm for weary souls. Neighbors, once distant, drew closer, inspired by the tale of redemption that spread through the territories. Elijah found peace in forgiveness, releasing the guilt that had chained him, while Clara discovered roots she never knew she craved, her wandering heart finally at rest. The Wild West, with its unforgiving trials, had tested them both, but in the end, it revealed the enduring power of connection, proving that even in the harshest landscapes, love could bloom anew. As this story draws to a close, if it has stirred something deep within you, perhaps a tear, a memory, or a spark of hope, then let that emotion guide your hand. Like this video, leave a comment sharing how it moved you, share it with a friend who needs its message, and subscribe to Gentle Hearts for more tales that remind us of our shared humanity. Before we part ways, I have a special request. In the comments below, share the line, "Kindness changes everything," if this story reminded you of the transformative power of compassion.